In this video, we're going to show how you can add a login function to your UX component so that a mobile application requires authentication before the user can start interacting with it. So you can see here we have a very simple component that has been designed with 4 different buttons here, and currently all of the buttons are shown. However, if we go back to design mode, we can see that for this first button we've not put any security on. For the second button we've said that only admin users can see this button. For the sales button we've specified that only people who are in sales and admin can see that button, and then finally for the marketing button, only people in marketing and admin can see the button. So in working preview there's no security groups applied, so therefore I can see all of the buttons. We've also put a logout button on the top and a welcome message where we'd like to display the name of the logged in user. So currently this component doesn't have any login functionality associated with it. So now let me also quickly go back to the web project properties, and we'll see here in web security that we've turned on security for this project, and then we've defined 3 different users: A at A.com, M at A.com, and S at A.com, each of whom is a member of a different group. So A at A.com is an administrator, he's in the marketing group, and he's in the sales group. So now let's go and build a login component for this for our application. So we'll go back to the web control panel and I'll say new UX component, and this time I'm going to choose a component from the predefined templates, and what I want is a security framework login component for a mobile application. So I'm going to go ahead now and then click OK, and then close that down, and I can see here that I've got now a sample component, and if I just quickly go into preview I can see that there's my username and password fields are being prompted for. So let's go back now and take a look at and see what properties were set by this template. So first of all we can see that the component structure is a panel navigator with 2 panel cards. So the first panel card from there to there is where all of the login functionality has been placed, and this has an ID of panel underbar login, and then the second panel card is actually where your mobile application will go. So currently there's just a temporary placeholder here, it's called static text, but if we look at the comment here for the static text, sorry, let's go here to the comment there, we can see that it's telling us that we should really replace the static text with an embedded object, which is in fact our application. So we'll go ahead and do that in a while, but let's go back now to properties here. So we can see that for this component we've turned on integrated login functionality, then we've specified that the username is in this control called username, and that the password is in this control called password, and that login errors should be displayed using that placeholder. So if we go back to controls we can see that we have a placeholder there, which is where all login errors will be defined. So let's go back again to properties, and then we can see we've defined an inline style for login errors, etc. So we don't need to actually worry about this property because we're going to be redirecting to a different actually we do need to worry about this, and we've currently set this to true, which means that after the component, after the user logs out, the UX component, this login component, will be completely reloaded. So let's go back now to controls, and let's take all of the existing functionality inside this a panel card here and delete it, and then go ahead now and then go to other controls, embedded objects, and add in the UX control, the UX component. But let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing with our login component for mobile application, and now we'd like to go here to embedded object and then add in our our actual application component. So this is the actual application. So the actual application has been added as a child into our login component. So now let's go to our properties here and let's check this delay render till visible. So basically what this is saying is that when this login component is initially run, since the user at that point will not have yet logged in, there's no point in actually running this embedded object, so we've said don't run it until the this panel gets active. But how will this panel get active? And the answer to that is that there are login events that we're going to be using now. So let's now go to our client-side events, and if we look at our client-side events, we can see that in the after login event we're doing a panel set active to panel application, and in the after logout event we're doing a panel set active to the login panel. So again, as you can see, here's the login panel and there's the application panel. So what's going to happen is when the login component is initially displayed, the user will see the login pane. Then when they click the login button, and if they're successfully authenticated, then focus will then move to the application panel, and then the actual component will be loaded. But the important thing here is that since this component is not loaded until the user has been authenticated, at that point Alpha Anywhere will know what user group the authenticated user belongs to, and so when this My Mobile application component is actually loaded, only the buttons that the authenticated user is allowed to see will actually be shown. So let's go ahead now and save this as My Mobile App Login, and then let's go ahead now and then test this. So first we're going to save this in its own page, so we'll go here and save it, and we'll just call this, say, index.a5w. And next what we'll do is we'll actually publish it to test it. So security is not active when you're doing live preview, so we actually have to publish the application to see the security at work. So we'll go back to our web projects control panel, and we'll go ahead now and say publish to local web root, but we'll go here and just give it its own folder. So we'll go here and we'll say mobile security, and then we'll go now and say we'd like to publish all files in the project. Since this is the first time we're publishing, we'd like to publish all of the security data as well. And then after we finish publishing, we'd like to load index.a5w. So we'll go ahead now and click the publish button. So this is going to go ahead now and publish all of our files, then launch the browser, and you can see now that we're being told that we don't have permission to actually run the login page. So let's go back now and fix that. So we'll go back to the login page, and go here and say that this is always allowed. Then we'll go to the mobile application, and we'll say that requires login, and then we can say that these groups can see it, and then we'll go to our A5W page, and we'll say that this is always allowed. So now that we've made these changes, let's go ahead and republish and test it again. But let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing now with our video on adding authentication to a mobile application. We're going to just now go ahead now and republish. We only just need to republish a single file, so let's just go make index.a5w dirty, then go here publish. We can just republish the current file and then launch index.a5w afterwards. So we'll go ahead now and hit the publish button, and now we can see that the component opens up in the browser, and let's just make the browser window a little bit smaller so that it approximates the size of a mobile device. And now let's log in as an administrator. So I'm going to log in as a@a.com, and then go here and type in AALPHA, which was the user ID. Click the login button, and now we can see that focus has gone to the actual child component, and we can see the component has been loaded. We see all of our buttons because we logged in as an administrator. However, we don't see the welcome message has not yet been defined, and the logout doesn't have any functionality associated with it. So let's go back now to our builders and continue to add that additional functionality. So first let's go to the actual child application over here, where we have this logout button, and we'll just go to the click event there, and then go to text mode and just type in dialog.object and then logout, and we'll just choose that from the autocomplete. So now let's save this and publish it, and then go back to our and then also let's turn off the server and then turn the server back on again so that the user is no longer logged in. And we'll go back to our browser now, and we'll rerun the application. So there we are back at our login screen. So we'll go here and type in, say, a@a.com, and then AALPHA, hit the login button. Now we go to the actual child component, which is the actual application itself, and then we'll go ahead now and press logout, and you can see that that returns us now to the parent component, to the actual login. So now let's log in as somebody in the marketing group. So m@a.com, and then m alpha, and now we can see that we only see the marketing group. We can go ahead now and log out, and now let's try typing in some incorrect credentials and then log in, and you can see that the error message is displayed where our placeholder was positioned. So now we still need to go back and add the functionality that's going to set that message showing the welcome screen, and we'll continue that in the next video. So we're continuing our video now on adding authentication to a UX component, and as you recall at the end of the last video we had added the logout functionality, but currently the welcome message is not being updated yet. So what we'd like to display over here in the welcome message is the name of the logged in user. So let's go back now to the builder and see how we can do that. So if we go back to the builder, we can see that for this embedded object, which represents the actual application which gets loaded after the user has successfully authenticated, you can see that there's a property here called the onload complete JavaScript. So this JavaScript is executed after this component is loaded. So remember that this embedded component now is not actually loaded until this panel gets focused. So there's the delay render till visible, and this panel itself doesn't get focused until the user has successfully authenticated. So when the user clicks the login button, if the login was successful, then focus goes to this panel. That causes this embedded UX component to run, and when this component has completed running, then this onload complete JavaScript runs. But it's very important to notice the help here that tells you that this JavaScript runs in the context of this embedded component. So dialog.object, etc., all refers to the embedded component and not the current component. So if we go to the actual embedded component and we look at the static text that is shown in the header, we can see that there's a span with an ID of login message. So let's just copy that to the clipboard, and we'd like to set the inner HTML of this span to the name of the current logged in user. So we'll go back to the login component, and inside the load complete JavaScript, we'll go here, and I've actually got the code here. I'm just going to go ahead and comment it out and then explain it. So what we're doing is we're getting a pointer to that span, and then we're going to get the name of the logged in user friendly name. Well, we'll explain what the friendly name means in a few moments, but the actual method itself can be obtained from the autocomplete. So if I just type in dialog.object and then logged in user friendly name, you can see I can get it from the autocomplete. So this is giving us the friendly name of the current logged in user, and then we're setting the inner HTML of that span to that particular name. So we could include other text over here, like the time that the user logged in, or any other information. So the friendly name basically could be the same as the logged in name, but the friendly name allows you to, for example, take a cryptic login name, like maybe say a@a.com, and replace it with, say, a real friendly name, like say Arthur Anderson or some other name. So the friendly name is actually set in the on login server-side events. So you can see here on the server-side events, the on login event fires after the user has successfully logged in, and one of the things that you can do excuse me, in this event is set e.username friendly. So if you don't set e.username friendly, then it's just equal to a blank value. So right now I'm not going to set it, but I'm going to go ahead now and test my application. So I'll go there, and I'll do let me just make this dirty, and then save it, and then just republish this these pages. Then go back now to test the application. So let's go ahead now and then run it, and you can see now, since we already were logged in, this message now has been replaced with a blank because the friendly name has not been set. So let's pause now and continue in the next video, where we'll actually go ahead and set the friendly name. So we're continuing now with our video on adding authentication to a mobile application, and we're going to go ahead now and set the logged in friendly name. So I'm going to just log out here. So let's go back now to our builders, and then in the on login event, let's go now and set the friendly name right now just simply equal to the logged in name. So we'll go here and say e.username. So now in this case, the friendly name is being set to exactly the same as the logged in username, but you could easily write code here that goes to, say, some table and looks up a friendly name for some given username. But right now we're going to just set the friendly name to be exactly the same as the username. So we'll go ahead now and just do a quick publish, and then we'll go back to our browser and do a refresh. So let's just reload this page now, and now we'll type in, say, m@a.com and type in the password, and then log in, and we can see now that the friendly name is displayed over here. We've got our logout button that is functional, and we're only seeing the buttons that this particular user is allowed to see. So this user's in the marketing group, so they can see the any user button and also the marketing group button. So what we've shown in this video is how you can create a login component for a mobile application and authenticate users, and then also display different controls on the mobile application that are conditional based on the current role that the logged in user has. Thank you very much for watching.